You'll never take me alive. Come and get me. I survived. How did I survive? How's it going, guys? John here from the Kilobits, and today, welcome to the Rokh. Every time I say the title of this game, I just have Sean Connery's voice in my head. But no, this is Rokh by Nvizzio Creations and Darewise Entertainment, and this is yet another survival sandbox game. If you've been keeping tabs on the channel, I did another one of these type of games earlier in the week, which was called Lacuna Passage. That was a single player experience. This is a multiplayer experience. I am just going to be playing it on my own. If we can maybe do something like a collab or a co-op video on this, I may come back to it. But I thought it would be good to do a comparison between them, as these games did come out within a day of each other. Both same kind of genre, both crafting survival sandbox games, both set on the same location of Mars, both within the same kind of price bracket, but two very different approaches. Anyway, this is Rokh, and we can have a look in the options. So this game is done in the Unreal Engine, so you can expect all the usual kind of graphic options, post-processing, things like that. Everything I've got ramped up to the epic. Now there are some frame hitching issues. It is early access. Also, being online, we are kind of dialing into a server, so there's always going to be lag issues. But in comparison to Lacuna Passage, I played, 2-3 hours of that. I've played about 2 hours of this so far. This game does look a lot prettier, not just because of the Unreal Engine, better lighting, things like that. Just the terrain as well. I think there's kind of been better sculpting in the terrain than that. But you'll see that as we get into the gameplay. Audio, we've got separate sliders for master audio, ambient and music. Again, as a comparison, Lacuna Passage was very bare bones on the audio side of things. This has got more going on. Controls, now this is more crafting involved, so it's standard kind of keyboard controls of WASD. Left click is our main button of choice, E for interact, and we've got stuff like flashlight, watch UI, I'm not sure what that is. We can open helmet vents. I've not done that yet. As I said, I've only been tinkering around in this one for maybe a couple of hours. And gameplay, we can toggle language, reset. It is early access. There's still stuff that's not working in it. It's still pretty buggy. But we'll jump in. I can show you what's going on. Now, it's the waiting game. This is multiplayer, so we are dialing into servers. Okay, so here we are on the surface of the red planet, eventually. So yes, there are a few issues with the servers. Not least the fact this is the second time I'm recording this, because I spent 30 to 40 minutes talking to myself when the video stopped capturing after finally getting into a server. But, you know, 4, 5, maybe 6 attempts more at actually finding a working server. I'm here, I'm back on the surface of the planet, and yes. So this is Rokh. Well, that's a rock. And to pass what I was talking about whilst I was waiting to try and find a server, apparently this game does have a fair few issues with the multiplayer and with the servers. So what I've picked up from the Steam forums is there is a big issue in the fact that obviously this is multiplayer. Obviously this is a crafting survival game where you are encouraged to build a base. And I think I'm actually walking towards one now. This may actually be a good example. So what I've heard is you can build a base like this. And, you know, you'll spend hours fixing it up, getting all the resources you need. But apparently, let's see if this actually works. Yes. You can break into somebody else's base. Once you've spent all this time building it, getting the resources you need. Building tile, no. We can actually put on our flashlight so we can actually see what's going on. These buildings aren't secure. You close the door, you may expect to think, okay, well, I've spent all this time building it. I'll put a crate in here with all my stuff. No. These buildings are not secure. The only way of having any security on what you build is to have a private server. And obviously there is issues with, cost of money and time maintaining it all. So that is certainly something the devs are going to have to look to fix. If they want people to, invest time in a game like this to actually be able to build stuff, they need to be able to make it secure. So, people don't feel like their effort is being wasted for some scumbag to come in and nick all their stuff. But it's going to happen. So how do we actually build stuff? Well, you can see I'm wandering around collecting lots of stuff from these loot chests on the ground. So breathing, yes. We're down to 50% oxygen. So we'll do oxygen first. If we go into our inventory, so this is fairly basic inventory. You've probably seen this kind of thing before. These are all the kind of resources I've picked up from, going into all those crates. So we've got stuff like, spikes and rods and rad shields and things like that. And we've got oxygen. Now, oxygen replenishment is fairly easy. We just drag and drop onto that and we're back up to 100%. So we've got plenty of oxygen. You can always pick up oxygen in crates. There's no issue about that. As for other stuff, well, we've got food and water. And as you'd expect, we can put these on our belt. And these actually, how you use these is, well, we toggle 4. That's highlighted. Press left click and we take a drink. Likewise, 5, left click, and we've had a nibble. Now, oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Power, as you can see, O2's all right, food, water's okay. The little electrical bolt is power, and the only way of replenishing that is by going to bases like this one over here. Yes, we do have a jetpack, so we can actually fly a little, and it does actually replenish. I'm not going to burn it out completely. Oh, we took damage. We've busted our legs. So yeah, the damage on it is weird. I've taken fall damage before by, falling too far, but it was because I was like floating off into the distance. I think it bugged out slightly. And as of yet, I've not discovered a way of recovering from injury. I don't know whether we can actually fix these up. I mean, in the opening cutscene, you see, somebody's built a base and then the buggy goes by. So whether we can actually build vehicles in it, I don't know. But we were talking about power. So power, hopefully, well, always, there should be power in these kind of buildings. So this is obviously an abandoned base, habitat, science base, whatever. But other than... Oh, it's all kicking off. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. We should be relatively safe around here. Just keep an eye on the ground. If there any white circles appear, then that's where impacts are going to land. So you always want to keep an eye out for these kind of bases. I mean, we can't break into them, which is slightly disappointing. I'd like to see what's inside one of these. But you need to keep an eye out for them, because this is where you can actually recharge your battery if we can actually find the generator. And they're normally somewhere around here. Is that it? Glowing? No, that's where a meteor's going to strike. Okay. Yeah, like that. I saw glowing and I thought, oh, is that a generator? No. Ah, there we go. There's the generator. So, as far as I can tell, this is the only way of replenishing your battery, is by going up to one of these and pressing E. And there you go. Power is fully restored. And yes. So, I spoke a little about another game I'd played this week called Lacuna Passage. Once again, survival sandbox game. crafting elements set on Mars. That one, obviously, single player. This is multiplayer. But my major issue with that game was just how dull it was. Not just the fact that, it was, a fairly dark game. I mean, this is pretty dark as well. Obviously, it is nighttime. But just the fact that it was very tedious, there was not a lot to do, and there wasn't any kind of dynamic events. So this game, obviously, we have to avoid giant rocks falling from the sky, which is pretty much a dynamic event, I'd say. It's something to bear in mind whilst you're trying to, scramble for supplies and things like that. But it's not the only one. If we have a look at the map, we are all the way here on this side of the planet. This side of the planet is prone to meteor strikes. This side of the planet is prone to dust storms and electrical storms. So wherever you are on the map, there is a chance that you're going to get, horribly squished, but that something is going to always be happening. So this will die down shortly. And I will be able to get on to talking about how the crafting works. So at the moment, we're very, very... Well, we haven't got any tools other than what you can see on the one slot, which is... Yes, we have a screwdriver. It's not a sonic screwdriver, but this is our most basic tool and is what is used to create additional tools. So if we hit left click now, you can see... We can build a pickaxe for mining, a hammer, which is used for building blocks, wrench, which is used for repairing, crowbar allows parts to be salvaged so we can break up stuff, and a level 2 tool, which is essentially this, but with more stuff available. So what we want to do is, well, first and foremost, let's build a pickaxe, and you always drop in with a medium rod and at least one spike. So you can always build a pickaxe straight away. And what we will also do is, I presume we've got enough to do a small rod and, yes, just one of those, and a small bar. Yes. And have we got enough for a advanced tool? Emergency screwdriver? Yeah, okay, we should be able to do this. So a small rod and a small spike. And we can build that as well. So as you can see, we've only got 5 options here with the emergency screwdriver. But if we were to equip the assembly tool, and we'll also put our pickaxe and our hammer on our bar as well. And also water, because we're always going to need that. If we hit 1 now and left click, there's a hell of a lot more things to choose from. So we can build a door, but we're going to need hinges and metal sheets for that. We can build a utility knife, which we need handles, blade, even a saw blade. And all these... are crafted differently, so that obviously requires a lathe to build. So there are lots and lots of different kind of crafting options, so that this game certainly has a lot deeper crafting than something like Lacuna Passage. But it's not all about just building tools. We also have to build, well, buildings, and this is kind of an example. If we hit 3... we bring up our hammer, and this is where we can actually build building materials, and at the top of the list is the tile. And I don't think we've got any... Oh no, we've got 82. There we go. So we can build at least 2 of these. So if we pick 2, and we put the NV... So this, you can basically use any malleable rock or metal to build tiles. Each tile has its own... Well, any part you build has its own durability. As you can see, the emergency screwdriver is down to about half. And it depends on what metal it's built out of. The same with the building tiles. They all have their own durability and also have their own properties when it comes to actual pressure. Because obviously, being on Mars, no atmosphere, we will want to pressurize our buildings. So if we bring up our inventory, we should have, where is it? There we go, tiles. And in fact, I think we may actually just build one more tile if we can afford it. Nope, 3. We got enough for one more tile because I want to show how the snapping works. So yes, one more. Yes, craft that. And we will need to get some more power eventually. There we go, right. Can we get some sunshine maybe? Okay, we'll put our flashlight on so we can see this. So if we pick inventory actually first, so we can actually put that tile on. There we go, 3. Right. Why is it only showing 1? No. Inventory. There we go, 3. There we go. It doesn't stack very well, clearly. Okay, so 5 on our inventory. So this is a building tile. And obviously we can use the mouse wheel to alter its orientation. So let's put 1 on the ground like that. Next one, let's snap it there. And snap it there. So that's as basic as building gets. You get your metals, you build tiles, and then the tiles you can build, you know, buildings from. So how do we get the metals? Well, first of all, I'm going to go back to the battery, well, the generator, and recharge. And then we'll go hunting for a outcropping of metals or something we can actually hit with our pickaxe. So the generator was around here, wasn't it? Yes. Come on. There we go. Fully charged. Right. And we might as well top up our oxygen whilst we're here. So we're kind of not too bad at the moment. Also, our radiation is pretty low. But as of yet, I've not discovered a way of dealing with the radiation build-up. Apparently, there is radiation pills you can take. Oh, it looks like it's getting slightly lighter. So we may be able to do this during the daytime. But as of yet, I've not come across that. And I think the frame rate's dipping again. So does that mean we've got more meteors coming? Anyway, so the way we gather resources is from these kind of outcroppings. So if we grab our pickaxe, this isn't actually metal. This is, if it wants to click, come on, you do want to click. There we go. Eventually. Sometimes you can only get these from certain angles. So this is actually ice. This is frozen water. Now, to actually be able to make any use of this, we're going to have to actually build a refiner or something to kind of purify it. At the moment, the only thing we can drink is the sachets of water we find in crates. But occasionally there's other outcrops, which I don't think we can actually get this one. We need a harder axe for it. But I can show you that at least. Come on, running. And there we go, let's try it. Yeah, extraction failed. We need to upgrade to a harder axe. So let's see if we can find something else that we can actually hit. Oh, that looks like just on the horizon there we can get that one. I think that's probably tin or iron or something. But as it stands, the gathering of resources is fairly easy. I mean, there's always going to be crates about. The crates are all kind of randomly generated to the extent I've seen crates sticking out of the side of buildings, because they always seem to spawn in randomly. They spawn in and, you know, disappear in front of your eyes as well. What's this then? This is... Oh no, that's hard as well. Okay, right. It's doing this on purpose for us. Can we please? Come on, please. There we go. Right. We need something to hit. I was saying that the resources are abundant, and it's clearly deciding to prove me wrong. Let's find something we can hit. Nope, it really does want to prove me wrong. Let's work our way down at least. We can see if we can find anything. I can see slight glowing of boxes, but there doesn't seem to be any resources about. Where are we on the map? On the map, we're down here. Let's maybe set ourselves a marker of... Come on. No, down here. Can you actually... Fine, that will do. So, we'll head in that direction. Put our finger away. So I suppose I should get into what my opinions of the game are like. I'm not a huge fan of crafting survival games. I think I've probably said this in the past. For the most part, I find them fairly dull, especially this type of game. Obviously, this is one of those games you get out of it what you put into it. So if you're the kind of person that loves kind of building stuff and, you know, creating your own house and things like that, you'll probably enjoy this. But after that, there is not a lot to do. The developers are planning on adding stuff in like combat and, you know, the ability to, you know, build a greenhouse and grow your own food and things like that. So it will have a little bit of longevity to it. But this is one of those type of games, you know, once you've built a house, there's not a lot else you can really do. There is kind of a definite, you know, end point because it can't go much further. You can just build a bigger house, but it all gets a little tedious and dull after that. This we should be able to hit. Can we hit this? There we go. Nickel. Now, it doesn't really matter. This I've hit 2 or 3 times before. Once it's been magnesium, once it's been smithsonite. So it does change up. And we're going to have to bear in mind we may get hit by meteors again. But we'll carry on in this direction. So, personally, I'm not too bothered about this game. But that is just, you know, my personal take on survival games in general. As it stands, this game itself isn't bad. Obviously, there are huge issues with actually trying to find a server, and then once you found a server, is building on it going to be any good? Because, you know, all your stuff may get nicked if you go offline. There's the obvious issues with the frame rate is all over the place because it's in the Unreal Engine and it's pretty system intensive, and the fact we're dialing it to servers so that you're always going to have lag issues and ping issues and things like that. Also, stuff like these dynamic events are all going to cause your system to, you know, chug and the game to be really laggy. But if you can kind of put up with that, and if you can possibly find friends to play with this, this may be a fun experience. I mean, as it stands, you know, trying to survive on an alien world certainly has more appeal to me than, you know, something like Minecraft. I can't stand Minecraft. Punching trees I just find tedious. It's but, you know, the idea of, you know, trying to recreate The Martian and maybe growing potatoes in my own shit, yeah, I can see an appeal to, you know, playing a game set on a survival game set on Mars. It's a very harsh environment. You've got to be aware of, you know, where's the oxygen coming from? How am I going to get water? Oh God, there's no atmosphere. I'm going to die of radiation poisoning. All this kind of stuff. It does keep you on edge, and then, you know, am I going to get squashed by a giant meteor? There's certainly a lot there to keep you on your feet, keep you going, keep you interested. But these type of games also just live and die by the fact, you know, what is the community like? Obviously, some games have, you know, thrived. We've had games like Minecraft, we've had games like Rust, Ark. All have had, you know, been embraced by the community and have, you know, generated a lot of buzz. People are still playing them years later because there's that community has kept them going. This, on the other hand, I don't know whether it will grab the attention of the public like that. At the moment, it's been out for 5 days, I think it is, 4 or 5 days. And, you know, aside from the issue of getting onto the servers are pretty bare. I think I'm on a server at the moment, and there's, 2 other people on it. Obviously, the maps are huge. You can see just how big they are. It's taken me this time to walk towards a ping I've put on the map 2 sectors away, and the maps are huge. So you're probably not going to have issues of bumping into people and that. But that may be a bad thing. Maybe you want to get in, you know, play with people, and trying to find them on a server unless you load in together is going to be an issue. But as it goes, the game isn't bad. Obviously, huge technical issues, but at least it has, you know, stuff in it that is actually worth playing with. There's no kind of story or anything like that, but it's one of those games, like I said, you get out of it what you put into it. So it's going to be a lot of kind of user-generated experiences, you know. I spent, you know, X number of hours building this fantastic habitat, and then, you know, immediately it got hit by a meteor. It's going to be all that kind of thing. But if you've not got that kind of personality that can stick with, you know, spending ages building something like that, you, like me, you may find it a little tedious and not want to continue much further than, you know, just playing around with it a few hours. And the fact the game is, I think, £20, so it's about $25. That might be an expensive prospect, you know, just to get a few hours out of it. It's not really worth it. I can't go underneath there. I'm just wandering around. I've got no specific plan. I'm not going to build anything because it would take ages. And I've shown you the basics of building. It's gather resources, make tiles, build them. I'm really disappointed we can't actually get into these buildings because obviously they're huge. I want to know what's inside these. Maybe this is where we can get radiation medicine. I don't know. Maybe we can drive these buggies at some point. I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw in the opening cutscene somebody build a base and then a vehicle like that drove past. So maybe there'll be, you know, building or, you know, using vehicles at some point in the future of the game. I don't know. Maybe there'll be an end game goal of actually getting off the planet. Maybe this is like Astroneer. Maybe you have to build a pod like this or fix up a pod like this and get it off the ground. I don't know. But as it stands at the moment, as with all early access games, I kind of advise people, if you don't want to buy a game that by definition is broken, incomplete, and not very good, it's not a complete game, then avoid early access at all costs. If you are interested, obviously, yeah, keep an eye on it. You know, put it on your watch list, put it on follow on Steam. Keep your eye on the dev logs and things like that. But only buy it if you are interested, really interested in the game and looking to support the developers, and you know, you want to see it succeed in, you know, actually grow. So throw your money behind it that way, but you throw your money behind it at your own risk. We'll have a swig of water. There you go, drink that. And as you can see, our radiation is slowly creeping up. I've no idea why I'm going towards this ping. I didn't put it on the map for any particular reason, but it just seems like somewhere to go for the time being. And maybe we can make it across to the dark side of the planet, where the dust storms are. Can we? Come on. Yeah, occasionally I do have come across that. It suddenly stops and I can't move whatsoever. But again, early access, folks. Yeah. So, my opinion, the game's not bad. It's not fantastic. There's certainly technical issues, but there's certainly more going on here than other games I've played, especially games like, recently, Lacuna Passage. Also, I played one with Lost Scarf and Smash Gaming recently. What was that called? Steam Hammer? God, that was dull. That was just wandering around. It was supposed to be like a steampunk survival game. It took us literally 15 minutes to find one another, and then it took us about 30 more minutes to find a resource. It was atrocious. At least this one has something on that. Resources are readily available. There's always crates about. There's always stuff to mine. The terrain is nicely sculpted. It feels kind of epic. You know, if somebody was going to recreate The Martian, this is kind of game you could do a machinima in and quite happily kind of just look at the environment. This isn't just, as I say that, turn around, the textures popping in and out. Yeah. So there is a bit of texture pop, maybe. But yeah, I mean, it looks nice. We've got dynamic events with the meteors, and eventually, if we can get across to that side, the planet, the dust storms. There's stuff going on. You can build yourself a nice little space house if you want to. And there does seem to be a sense of a desperate way to survive because, as I said, I've no idea how we deal with radiation poisoning. There's no clear way. We've got in our inventory, what was it? Come on. Do you want to bring up our inventory? God, frame rate, come on. There we go, eventually. We've got rad shield. We've got 2 potassium iodide shielding parts. We can't put them on our suit. Apparently, upgrading your suit is coming soon, as long as with the combat and the food farming and all that kind of thing. But, yeah, I'm not sure how you deal with radiation. So, the game has potential, definitely. But it's going to live and die by the community that, you know, get involved with it. It certainly needs improvements on the technical side, maintaining the servers, getting the servers actually working properly, not queuing for like 5 minutes just to get in a game only to get booted. It's certainly going to have to do something about these frame rate issues. But technical stuff, I can see them fixing. At its core, they could add stuff in, like combat and things like that. I think the bare bones are here that it can actually build on. It's not so bereft of stuff that it's going to be a disappointment to people. But it is going to be a case of you're getting out of this what you put into it. That's my takeaway for the entire game. It's a survival game. What else would you expect? Oh look, like I said, people build houses. This is the extent of a house. It's a doorway. Remember to close your doors. Can we close it? There we go. Anyway, yeah, so if you are interested, as always, I will leave a link in the description below so you can find out more information for yourself. And if you enjoyed this first impressions of Rokh, hit that like button. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Or you can always get me on any of the social medias over at the Kilobits. And if you want to help support the show, share the video with your friends. You know, hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And if you really want to help us out and you've been checking out the videos for a while now, why not consider heading on over to Patreon and maybe dropping us $1? It does help keep the show going, helps me continue making more content for you guys. Basically, it keeps me stocked in coffee so I can actually carry on with these late night edits and things like that. And what the hell is that? Obviously, the stuff coming out of the bottom of it is tiles. Yeah, I want to go see what this is. This seems like a very good apt place to end, see what somebody's created. If we can get up this bloody hill. Jetpack. Nope. Okay, right, let's see if we can find another way around. I'm determined to see what this is. There we go. No, come on. Can we make it up this bit? Come on. There we go. I want to see what this guy's done. Okay, somebody has spent a lot of time on this base. Let's have a look. So they've got what is this, a metal press or something? This is a workbench. They've got... What the hell's that? Fabricator? Don't know. Yeah, somebody spent a lot of time in here. But it's still pretty sparse. Oh. Impacts. Yeah. In come the meteors. Okay. Oh, and one's about to crash there. In 3, 2, 1. There we go. Alright, well, this has been Rokh. If you are interested, as I say, there's a link down below so you can find out more information. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit like. And until next time, I've been John, and I will catch you anon. Alright, bye! Enjoy the fireworks.